Scott,
Stix.
how are you, bro?
Good. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm tired. I've been sleeping.
Wait a minute. You're tired? You've been sleeping?
You know how you sleep, sometimes you sleep too much and you wake up tired because you slept too much?
You know what? As odd as that is, I can totally relate. Yes, I do know what you're saying.
So we just got off tour, from Australia and Canada, and I was home about 48 hours in the last month, and I got home from Canada and just took a coma, and so I'm wiped out, dude.
You know what? I totally get it because I have such a messed up sleep schedule doing a morning show and everything, and I have to crash in the afternoon, and
yeah,
I feel it. You sleep and you wake up and you feel more tired than when you went to sleep, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's hard to get refreshed.
That's the life of a rock star like you, though, brother.
Dude, if somebody look, I wouldn't trade it for the world, but if somebody said, hey, dude, you will never be rested, I'd have been like, wait a minute. We got to figure out a way to change that. But at the same time, it's fun as hell.
Right. I mean, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think that you would be touring the world? And I mean, you guys have done every size venue from download to, whatever. I mean, that has to, you must once in a while at least still go, this is friggin' crazy.
Dude, from the Viper Room, which is 200 people max,
right,
to Download, which is 100,000 people, and everything in between, like you said, every now and then the 15-year-old Dick goes, really, dude? We're doing this? This is crazy. It's crazy. I remember on my Peachy folders writing out the Rush logo, writing out Journey. I was that kid where I wrote all of my favorite bands, Van Halen. I would learn all the logos.
Right.
I can't draw, but I learned the logos, and they were all over my folders. And I remember having this vision of seeing pictures of festivals, like the US Festival and all that, and going, man, I'm going to do that one day. And you never really think you're going to do it, and then all of a sudden you find yourself actually emotionally choked up on stage in front of 100,000 people because they're singing a song that you were part of writing. It's as insane as you would imagine.
You know what, dude? I mean, you are living the dream that so many people, myself included, have had, and I know, I've talked to a lot of different people who've reached, your level of success, and they're just like, hey, I wanted it, I worked hard to get it, but I never thought, bam, here I am. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think you ever. I think as a kid or a teenager, I think you go, "That's what I'm going to do,"
right?
And you don't think about the actual steps that it takes. And then while you're on your journey or whatever you want to call it, you don't think, "I'm still going to get to that one moment," because it's funny. People who knew us in the beginning, or people who didn't know us, sometimes they're like, ooh, you guys are this overnight success, kind of came out of nowhere. Well, dude, I lived every single day of it, and I know what it's like. It doesn't feel overnight. And then I also get the question, and I think a lot of guys in bands get this question, like, when did you know you made it, right?
Right.
And there's never a moment that I feel like, oh, that's when I made it, because I'm still going for it.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to ask you, do you still get that, that inner feeling that what if this all goes away? You know what I mean? Do you get that?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
I do get that feeling, and I think that depending on who you ask, some guys are so I remember there was a very conscious choice. I remember I was in bands, from a kid, right?
Sure.
When I was a kid. And all my friends were in bands in the neighborhood. And then as you get a little bit older, people start to peel off and get their quote unquote normal job. And they kind of go, okay, well, no, I better be sensible about this.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them going, dude, you're insane. And they're looking at me going, you're insane. I'm like, how could I be insane? You're the one leaving the band. Yeah. And remember, there was a clear choice where I had an opportunity to do something at I think it was the movie studios. It was getting into a union, and
okay.
It was actually I interned as a cameraman on 90210.
Oh, nice.
As the camera assistant intern, and I went down there a few times with a buddy of mine. His name was Jim Marquette. He was a super cool guy.
Right.
He was the camera operator, and he got me this opportunity. And I remember going, I could go down this road, but then I wouldn't be able to do music. And you know what? I'm going to live or die by this band thing, and I'm either going to die in the gutter trying, or I'm going to completely win at this. And I feel like the latter is more likely for me.
Right. And you're a California guy, right? I mean, so you grew up, and you and I are about the same age, and you grew up with that whole, when the 80s like exploded and it was the rock and so were you on
I'm
the
born and bred
Strip?
here.
Yeah. So the Strip and everything, did that just blow your mind? I mean, like, I wish I was there.
It was funny because I didn't live in it, so you would have to go to it, and I lived about 35 minutes from it.
Right.
So, and the area I lived in, there was a lot of musicians, and guys would go down there, and they'd have their gigs at the Country Club and the Roxy and the Whiskey.
Right.
And there was a club called Scream, and then there was a Cat Club and all that. And it was very, very exciting. It was electric. It was like people out on the streets, hanging their flyers and practicing in their band practice rooms. And it was like I don't know. You look back and memories are way more romantic when they're memories, but when you're going through it, you're just going, dude, I'm trying to get this gig, and like it was very cool, it was very cool and exciting, and it was a sexy time, and it felt like an innocent, fun time.
I got to tell you, I am totally the 80s rock and stuff. That's my thing, and I'm totally into the romanticization. I'm not saying that right, but you know what I'm saying. I'm totally into that. The whole Sunset. I've watched the what's the Decline of Western Civilization, and all those.
Oh yeah.
With Chris Holmes in the pool and everything.
Dude, he's the best. He's the best in the pool. And then, dude, one of my favorite bands and scenes is the hot tub with Odin.
Oh yeah,
I love
Odin.
Dude, Odin. I mean, dude, the assless chap, and it really is what Steel Panther. It's what we have been.
I love it.
Preaching this whole time, and what we preach is let's have fun.
Exactly.
That's what we preach.
Right. Why not?
Dude, especially in I'm not gonna get too deep into it.
Sure.
But the way that it has felt in America and around the world for the past however many years, whatever it is.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, I'm not even pinpointing reasons. I'm just saying it just felt so like it's like you can't do this, you can't do that, and everybody's mad at this group and that group and this group. And like what we've been doing the whole time is going, F that.
Yeah.
We're just partying.
And that's, and I was going to ask you, do you guys, because, and I feel for you, and I feel for comedians too, especially, do you guys ever think, holy crap, this woke stuff is going to choke us out? I mean, is that ever, it must cross your mind.
When you say it out loud, it makes me go, oh yeah, I could see how that could happen. But in all honesty, I feel like what we've been doing this entire time has not changed. We started out doing what we do, and we just kept barreling down. And I feel like there's a lot of people, who just go, oh, that's Steel Panther. That's what they do. And like, I think it's the same with like a guy like Andrew Dice Clay, right?
Yep. Love Dice.
He says some. So do I. And he says some really like hardcore things.
Yep.
But I think most people just go, well, that's Dice.
Right.
And that's what you expect from him. And if you tried to cancel him now, you would look like a fool.
Right. And I'm so glad we still have that sort of, we can still do that. We can still say, well, that's Steel Panther and that's Dice, and that's what they do. And I hope we never get to the point, because, and I'm sure it'll swing, the pendulum swings or whatever. But 'cause I went and saw Dice at it was like an Italian supper club type place outside of Detroit. And it was awesome.
How was it?
It was great.
You know what? He's so like, I love the fact that he started out doing what he did, and then he became this really great serious actor. But he's still just funny as hell, and he makes people feel good. And the wokeness of people, it's like, bro, we come from a different time, and I am not. look, I got no ill will towards people.
Absolutely.
If that's how you feel, I get it, but you are not the police of me and what I enjoy, so don't try.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? Respect for everybody. You do you, what you want to do. There's no hate. There's no, racism or anything or any of that. It's just, don't be coming at me because I'm doing what I do, If you don't like it, don't listen to it or don't go to the show or whatever.
Absolutely, and not to intentionally swing it back to what we're doing in Sault Ste. Marie, but
yeah,
that's the nature of the Steel Panther show. Anyone and everyone is welcome, and you come in to the show, you get your freak on for 90 minutes, and there's no judging, and you just let your hair down and party your balls off.
I love it, man. And I love that you guys are, like you said, you haven't changed one bit. And you've got your, 6th album coming out in was it February? I can't
February
wait.
24th, On the Prowl.
Yes, On the Prowl. And I know you guys have one song and a video out and everything, and I'm sure you're going to play that. But is there anything else from the new album we might hear, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. By the time oh gosh, what's the date? What's the date we're there?
26. It's coming up soon, like 10 days.
Son of a biscuit. I don't for sure. Never too late.
Yeah.
But very possibly a second single. I don't want to say which one it is because we have sworn each other to secrecy.
No worries. It's all good.
But we will have a new video coming out, and I will just tell you this, Scott. What we're talking about today, the romanticization.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is. It's super hard.
Yeah.
Romanticizing of the 80s.
Yeah.
When you hear this next single, it's basically a love letter to the 80s.
Nice.
And you will, when you hear the lyrics, man, you're just going to go, oh, my God, they are nailing it.
Great. I can't
You're
wait.
You're going to love it. It'll take you right back to that time.
Now, you mentioned Rush. I got a very important question that since you're a drummer, and I won't try to steer you in any direction, but it's A or B, John Bonham or Neil Peart?
Don't hate me, but it's Bonham for me.
Oh, no, I love that. That's great. Yes.
It's always been Bonham, and Neil was Neil. I mean,
right.
What do you say? You don't say anything. You just go, well, that's Neil.
That's Neil. Yeah.
And he did things that Bonham could never have even comprehended.
Absolutely.
But at the same token, Neil could never have played like John. And John Bonham's, I guess I have to go by. Who would I rather have put on if it's time to get down to making sweet love?
Oh yeah.
And I'm putting on When the Levee Breaks.
Oh,
I'm putting on Black Dog.
Yeah.
I'm not putting on YYZ.
Well, that's a pace.
Or Subdivision, for that matter.
Yeah, right.
It's just like Bonham was a sexier player sonically.
Yes. The feel, the passion.
Yeah, like the pockets were so deep they were hanging out of the bottom of the pants with Bonham.
I love it. Yeah, the other morning I couldn't help myself. I'm on the air, I'm doing the morning show, and I was playing Zeppelin, and I said I've heard the isolated track from "Fool in the Rain," and I said I got to play that. I gotta share this with everybody so they can understand the the touch and the ghost notes, and not to get too into your, you know what I mean? The bass, the bass drum.
It's insane, and the thing that I think is really the most surprising about the Led Zeppelin recordings and the Bonham recordings, when we think of Bonham as this drummer who has this huge sound because that's how they record it. But when you put it up and you listen, it's not sonically EQ'd huge. It's the way it comes off. Like, it's relatively small, but the way he plays makes it sound like he's in a castle in your house. It's crazy. Yeah. And that has to do with his hands, and that's the hands in the feel. And by the way, speaking of ISO tracks, you got me on my full ADHD mode.
Nice.
Are you an Alice in Chains fan?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Have you ever heard the ISO tracks, like Lane Staley ISO tracks?
I haven't, but I often wondered how that blend is with him and Jerry Cantrell, and where's it end, where's it begin. So I'd like to hear it.
When you have nothing better to do, which is probably not very often, you should just go on YouTube and look up the ISO tracks of vocals for Alice in Chains. It is it's stunning. It's as stunning vocally as John Bonham's tracks are.
Wow. I bet you it almost makes you cry, doesn't it? Like you hear some of the emotion in his voice.
Dude, you have, like, you hear it in the song, but when you hear it ISO'd, you can hear the way he's shaping the words and the letters and the vowels, and it goes to a place where, like, the music part of me where that just goes, okay, we're in it, we're doing this. It's
nice.
It's unbelievable.
Nice. Well, I've got my homework now. I'm going to work on that. And dude, seriously, I've seen you guys many times in the Detroit area. You guys been here once before. Every show is, it's familiar and yet it's different, and it's always fun. And like you said, you just get to cut loose. No judgments, and I've talked to people after the show who first experience all that, and they're like, wow, those guys are super talented, and they joke around and have fun, and, it's not for the kids, but we all know that going in.
Yeah, you know what, that's what you're saying, people were saying to you is what we are trying to go for. We want people to come, be blown away, and have a great time, and wake up the next day going, that was a hell of a time.
Yeah, and totally. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Online, Stix ZADINIA.
Stix Industries.
Stix Industries. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Check out the swag, and you got a little history, and little Stix playing the piano. It's awesome, of course.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right. That's where I began my ivory tickling career.
Nice. And, of course, steelpantherrocks.com. Go there, check out everything, get your tickets. And, dudes, all honestly, I'm a fanboy, but I appreciate the musicianship you guys bring and the good times. It's a hell of a combination. Nobody else is doing it that I know.
I appreciate it. We are honored to carry the torch for the '80s, and we will always do it. And I hope to see you there, man. We're very excited to come out.
All right, dude. Appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy too. Take care. Look forward to the big show, 26, Kuwait Casino. We're doing it. We're gonna pack the place, have a great time.
Awesome, brother. Thanks so much for having me.